Howdy, YouTube. What's going on, man? Let's put some more light here. Okay, cool. What's going on, YouTubers, filmmakers alike, Momentum Productions, Halloween weekend. Crazy things happen. Crazy things happen. All right, I'm going to wait for a few people to tune in here. We'll get started. Alrighty. What's going on? YouTube Live is not updating. Used to that issue. Always see that happening. So let's figure out what's going on here. Send offline. All right, there we go. Now we're starting to get people to come in. That's very strange how YouTube takes such a long time to actually get this live stream up. All right, guys, how you doing? Josh here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a filmmaking channel. We are going to be talking a lot today about cameras, gimbals, tripods, lights, all this stuff. Black Friday is coming up. There's going to be a lot of killer cool deals for you guys to hop on it and get stuff at a really low discounted rate. We're going to talk about some of the new gear that's coming out, what to expect, what's coming out, especially from Sony and from Panasonic. Those two companies are probably going to be the biggest game changers in the industry right now. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to wait maybe another minute or two for more people to join in. But hey, Frank from Germany. Hi from India. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Not sure if it's me, but it's really laggy. Yeah, if there's an issue with the live stream, please let me know. Comment and let me know what's going on. Do you think the Sony a6300 is worth to buy? Yes, definitely still worth to buy, especially with its dropping price. I mean, I'm a guy that would still shoot with a 5D Mark II if I had the opportunity. So the a6300 definitely still worth to shoot with. I wouldn't blame the camera too much for shooting. I would blame the lens. So if you really want good quality stuff, I would have to focus more on the glass rather than the camera. Because glass doesn't really get better. Really good glass is going to remain really good glass. It's not going to degrade over time like cameras will. So I would focus more on glass and optics rather than the camera bodies. But if you do want a massive upgrade, like let's say your camera does only 1080p and only 60p slow motion, then I think it would be worth for you guys to upgrade to some of the newer cameras that do 4K, 100 megabit rate at least, 120 frames per second at full HD. I mean, those are some of the things that I would recommend that you guys look at, because those features are going to help you tell your stories a lot better. Hello from Los Angeles County in SoCal. What's up? How you guys doing? All right, cool. So let me tell you what I'm waiting for, the purchases that I'm going to make, and hopefully my decisions will help justify your decisions if you're going after the same targets like I am. So first of all, I'm waiting for Sony to release their A7S Mark III. It was supposed to be coming out this year, but their CEO came out and said, hey, we're not ready yet. They did get a little bit scared of Panasonic, so now they're going to try to revamp the A7S III, put as many features as they can last minute before they release it. Panasonic right now, I feel like, is Sony's biggest competitor. Not Canon, not Nikon, but Panasonic, because now they're doing their full frame lineup, and it looks freaking amazing. Panasonic is doing some incredible things. I'm a huge Panasonic fan. Ever since the GH4 came out, I love the GH4, hated the autofocus. That was the only thing I hated with the GH4. Everything else was phenomenal. If the autofocus was nailed down on the GH4, I would be using that more than my Sonys. But because Panasonic has probably the worst focus in the game, I had to sell that camera because there's instances where I have that camera on a tripod and I don't have a second camera person to help me out on a shoot, and I'm shooting an interview. I need to rely on the GH4's autofocus, especially when it's on a slider. I needed to have good autofocus because usually I have two cameras on an interview, one on sticks and one on a slider going back and forth, doing those cool parallax effects with a shallow depth of field. So we get that nice movement. And I need the GH4 to have autofocus for that. It didn't, so I had to sell it, and I use my Sonys now because Sony currently has the best autofocus in the game. Nothing is better than Sony right now. Just look at the A9. Sony is also the fastest camera manufacturer in the company. So the A9 is it's the fastest camera on the market. All right, 20 frames per second, nothing beats that as well. So sometimes I do like to do some photography and I need speed. So Sony does know how to kill the game when it comes down to actual technical specs. Where Sony lacks is character in their footage. So when you compare Sony footage to, let's say, Canon footage, or especially Fujifilm footage, it just doesn't have as much character. It doesn't have that film-like look. And I think that's where Sony needs to start really focusing on, is that film-like look. There's just no character in their footage. The footage itself, the quality is fantastic. I'm just talking about the look. It just looks too plain. Like, I could not tell that footage away from the other camera manufacturers. Well, actually I could, because it doesn't have that much character, but I want to be able to look at footage and distinctly tell that it's, oh, that's from Sony, oh, that's from Fuji, oh, that's from Canon. Canon especially had this with their 5D Mark II, 3, and 4. Canon, what they do is their cameras output high contrasty footage. It's very high contrast. So there's very deep blacks, there's very whites, and the midtones pop out. It just gives you that contrasty look that I just loved in the 5D Mark IIs especially. I regret selling that camera completely, but I did, and I miss it dearly. But Canon has that look. Fujifilm has, it looks slightly graded, but it works. It has slightly more yellowish than Sony, like sepia. And I just love Fujifilm's color. I think their color science is probably the best on the market right now. Panasonic actually has a similar issue with Sony, to Sony. Their footage doesn't really have character. It just looks high def. It looks very crisp, but there's no actual character in their footage. I know you can do this in color grading, but it would be nice to tell which footage comes from which brand. It's like saying two car manufacturers make the same exact car, but the badges are different. That's basically what Sony and Panasonic are, except with Sony you get that better autofocus. But I'm just talking about actual footage and how it looks like. Okay, let's answer some questions right now before I keep going on. If I have $300 to $400 US, I choose a gimbal or other lenses for beginner. I already have a 16 to 50 and Sigma 31.4. Appreciate it. Tell me about all the other equipment that you have. I would say a gimbal is a must, but it also depends on how much equipment you currently have. Do you have any lights? Do you have microphones? Audio is more important than gimbals, I would say. So I would, once you have your cameras and your lenses down, it's time to move on to audio. And actually, yeah, audio. But the first thing after you get your camera and your lens actually should be your tripod. All right. And then after that, focus on audio and lighting. Lighting is just as important. So those are the top 3 things that you need to be focusing on. If you don't have good lighting, if you don't have good audio, if you don't have good camera or lenses, then you are not eligible to purchase a gimbal just yet. That is an accessory purchase, which means that this is a purchase that you make later on once you have the fundamentals down, which is lighting, lenses, cameras, and tripods and supports and audio. I'm sorry, that's the one I was looking for. So this is what you need to focus on. Hello, Mohammed from Dubai. What is your opinion on the 5D Mark IV or the new EOS R? I mean, I know a lot of people have the EOS R right now. I just don't like the crop factor at 4K, and I think that's a complete buzzkill. So if I were to choose between the EOS R and the 5D Mark IV, I go for the Mark IV. The file sizes are going to be ridiculous in 4K, but I mean, I think it's a 1.74 crop factor when you're shooting in 4K on the EOS R. That's massive. So I'm just not a big fan of what Canon's doing here. Clearly, Canon wants people to buy their cinema grade cameras and not their mirrorless or DSLRs for filming. They clearly are doing that on purpose. And I think that's a very bad route to go because now they're going to lose a lot of people to Sony and Panasonic. What are your thoughts on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K? Is it better than the GH5? I don't have enough experience with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K, but all the raw footage that I looked at, it looked freaking good. I wanted to say the F word, but I'm gonna keep it PG here. But it looked freaking amazing. And from the footage I've seen, I would say that it's probably better than the GH5. I don't know what Blackmagic is putting into their cameras, but whatever they're doing, it's working. Will I personally buy the Blackmagic? Probably not, because I need autofocus. I really need, I mean, all my lenses now are Sony's, and they're not going to be compatible with Blackmagic, so I'm stuck with Sony. Spent too much money on glass. Hi, Josh. Do you have any idea how to make videos on anamorphic lenses? I don't have any anamorphic lenses, so unfortunately I can't help you out, but I will be getting some soon. And when I do, definitely make some tutorials on that. Fujifilm X-T3 or GH5, which one is better for filmmaking? I honestly, with Fujifilm right now, I would go with the X-T3. The GH5 still carries on the same autofocus issues. And as I said earlier, Fujifilm has that look. It has that clear, beautiful, cinematic vibe that just the GH5 is lacking. So yeah, I would go for the X-T3. I also like the button placement, the ergonomics, the feel of the camera, and I also like that little display that they put on the top portion of the body. That's something I actually miss from my 5D Mark II because it had something similar. I really miss that little display on top of the camera, because sometimes you're up close to your body and you're blind shooting, and it's nice to actually look down and see the exposure and how many shots you have left. Like, I mean, there's times where I shoot in very strange angles and I don't see the viewfinder. So it'd be good to have that option on a camera where you can just look down at the body and it tells you current exposure and memory card status and all that stuff. I have audio but don't have stability. Yes, then it is time for you to get a gimbal. If you have your audio, lighting, and cameras and lenses, move on to stabilization. I'm still using the Nikon D7 right now since I don't have the money to upgrade, but it still works well, I guess. Yeah, if it works, it works. Don't overspend your money. That's a mistake. I mean, equipment shouldn't be more than, I would say, 25–30% of your, oh man, that's already too much. So what you want to do, you want to actually look at your income per month. I mean, your rent is supposed to be 30% of your income. I would say your business should be probably 20% of your income. But yeah, rent 30%, equipment about 20%. I wouldn't be spending more money than that. And then you have other bills that you have to worry about, plus your savings. So you want to use kind of that formula there. I use about 20% for equipment. Currently, I haven't been spending any money on my equipment because I like what I have. I'm waiting for the A7S Mark III to come out. So that's what I'm going to be spending my money on when it comes. So every month, I'm saving 20% of my income to build up to buy the A7S Mark III when it comes out. So that's my current status on that. But if you divide up your income, 30% for rent, 20% going back into your business, and then you're left with 50%, that 50% is going to go towards your bills, utilities, car payments, whatever's left over is going to go into your savings. And also you want to have a little bit of a buffer, and that buffer is going to go towards entertainment, food, roller coaster parks, that type of stuff. You want to have that buffer so that way you're not in trouble. My biggest expenditure right now is buying food. I love to eat. So I have to manage that better. That's my one issue. I love to go out and eat sushi. That's like my number one food thing. I have to eat sushi all the time. So I have to manage that better. But if you if you get a spreadsheet and just think about this with strategy in mind, divide up your income, and based on your income, you can easily determine how much you should be spending a month for your equipment, or you can have each month roll over to the next month and start saving up for that big purchase. So that's what I would recommend. That's the type of formula I've been using, and I've been very happy. My bank account has been growing, and it hasn't been going down, which means that I'm saving money properly. So if you do it that way, I promise you guys, you will have more money in your bank account, okay? When it comes to not having money in your bank account, this is a very important thing right now. Is it time to open up a credit card or take out a small loan on your business? You don't want to be in debt for a long time. You don't want to be in debt. I was in debt probably almost $20,000 because of my lenses and my cameras. Thankfully, that was recently paid off, but you don't want to be in debt for a long time. So if you see that it's possible to pay off your debt within the next year or two max, because we're just strictly talking about camera purchases and equipment purchases, if you can pay off that debt within a year or two, then do it. But if you think it's going to take you 5-6 years to pay off that debt, it's very, very dangerous, because the interest accrued is going directly back into the bank, and that's just wasted money. I would suggest looking after no interest rates for your loans. So for example, I think Discover does no interest for 15 or 16 months. I signed up for that credit card. Citibank does 18 months, no interest financing. You want to go after companies that don't charge interest. And that's really good, because they're actually giving you a deadline of when interest is going to start accruing. So if I was Citibank and I give you 18 months to pay off your debt without interest, that's a good timeline for you to focus on paying off your debt. So 18 months, pay it off in 18 months. That's another thing that that was my mental state with all of this debt. I was like, okay, I have 18 months to pay off this debt. That's my number one goal right now financially, is to pay off that debt. And then once you pay off that debt, close the credit card account, open up a new one if need be. And again, focus on no interest financing, because that interest will accrue and it's going to end up killing you. I promise. You're going to be working your butt off to paying off that interest. Not something you want to do. When do you shoot manual focus? That's a really good question. When do I shoot manual focus? Well, if I'm shooting a subject and they're constantly moving in and out of the frame, no matter what camera you have, it's going to be very difficult to track a subject that's moving in and out of the frame. That's when I mainly use manual focus. And when my A9 has trouble with focus, or my A7S has trouble with focus, and I'm like so fed up with it, boom, put it in manual focus. When you notice a lot of focus breathing, boom, manual focus. You can't have too much, you can't have any focus breathing in your shots. It's just not going to look good. What are your thoughts on using the Nikon D750 for video work? I was honestly never a Nikon fan. I always thought that at high ISOs, Nikon video looks too green. But, I feel like as long as you keep the ISO levels down on the Nikons, they look pretty good. I mean, they are using Sony sensors, so, but yeah, or used to use Sony sensors. Now they're using, I believe, Tower Jazz. I think that's the new sensors that are coming in. for the Z7 cameras. Hi, what about the Zoom H6 and the NTG3 Plus Rode Blimp? Can I get broadcast quality? So right now I'm using the Rode NTG2 and the Zoom H6, and I'm getting broadcast quality. I mean, this mic is an absolute powerhouse. I have two mics back there. I have the Komica CBM VP2 and I have the Dds Mic 2. Both are considered broadcast quality, but when it comes down to noise performance, especially when I'm shooting in a very quiet room like my apartment here, I need a mic that can deal with low noise. And so far, the Rode NTG2 is the best mic I have for low noise. These two mics here, so the Komica I reviewed, you can check it out on my channel, and then I have the Dds Mic 2. The Dds Mic 2, beautiful microphone, has slightly higher noise than the NTG2, but the sound is completely different, in my opinion, compared to the NTG2 because it has that brass body, so it warms up that sound. So audio, like this is a great mic, the Dds Mic 2. It's a great mic for shooting live performances. I feel like live performances or maybe voiceovers, but for YouTube video shoots and for most of my client shoots, which is like interview stuff a lot, my NTG2 for sure. Yeah. I wish my GH4 had autofocus. That was better, but on paid shoots, I always use manual focus, so it's not a deal buster for me. Low light ability is far more important on paid gigs for me. Yes, if you do a lot of low light stuff, focus on that as well. If you're really good with controlling manual focus, then don't let that be a deal breaker for you. Inspire Studios. Hey Josh, what's up from Trinidad, Tobago? Great seeing you again, dude. Was wondering what keeps you inspired, motivated, especially when business might be slow. So I'll tell you, earlier this year, like before March, actually around March, my business was dead slow. It was very, very difficult to get client work. So what inspires me? YouTube inspires me. You guys inspire me. So if you're a person who checks YouTube frequently and your business is slow, what I suggest you do is just keep watching YouTube videos. Keep watching YouTube videos. That's one. Number two, another big thing is collaborate with other people who have similar interests as you. So Kitty, Jason Vong, Sydney Diongson, James Matthews. I mean, we all know each other. We all hang out, and we keep the ball rolling when it comes down to motivation and inspiring, because whenever we're together, we're always filming. And I recently came out of a dump of just not being inspired. And then I had Kyler Holland, who was just here, I think, was it last weekend? That dude inspired me to shoot more, yeah, because I was really, really in the dumps. I was just not inspired. So people inspire you. So I think that's number one, actually, is to hang out with people that are like-minded, and just shoot. Just shoot, because they are the ones who are going to be inspiring you. So yeah, try to make like-minded friends, and you will be inspired. Hi, please let me know what you think about the Nikon D750 or D7200 for videos. I'm a portrait photographer and I want to try some video work and I don't want to invest more. Please give me your input. So I'm not too familiar with Nikon cameras, especially the models that you named. But look, if the videos you shoot are looking good out of that camera, then why do you need to upgrade? I just was never a Nikon fan. This is my own personal preference, but don't use that against your own knowledge of Nikon, because you're the one who actually has those cameras. So you have to be the judge here when it comes down to video quality, picture quality, all that stuff. Thank you so much for your reply, Josh. There's a problem with your video. It's green patch at the bottom. People, please let me know if there's any problems with this live stream, because on my end, everything looks fine. It's up to you guys to let me know what the issue is. The last place where I was living, the internet was super slow. This new complex that I'm living in now, the internet's supposed to be super fast. So I don't think there should be any issues. Okay, so another issue with the crazy green thing going on. Man, I don't know what's going on. That's so weird. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. I don't know what's going on. Try reloading the stream. So just refresh the page and see if that's still there. As GH5, X-T3, and Blackmagic Cinema 4K all lack better autofocus, we can use external follow focus rig. Is it a good idea for compensating for lack feature? Yeah, so I'm actually about to review in a week or two a wireless monitor, and this wireless monitor is going to be very beneficial for you because if you have a wireless follow focus, you can easily track focus that way. So yes, if you do not have if you don't have good autofocus on your camera, definitely consider getting some sort of wireless follow focus. Good idea. Ada says, when will the Jew and Weeble lab be available? It's actually coming in next week for testing. So it should be arriving next week. I'll have it in my hands next week, and we're going to talk about some of the features. If you want me to do a live stream on my first impressions, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to do that. But yes, when is it going to be available? I'm thinking, so November is coming up. It's going to be probably mid-November where you can actually buy it. And I'll let you know. I'll give you guys updates. So make sure you are subscribed with those notifications turned on, and I'll keep you guys in the loop for that gimbal because its features, no other manufacturer has those features. Rohit says, thanks, mate. Appreciate your work. Yes, there's a green flickering patch at the bottom and a split screen. Man, YouTube. I'm looking at my own stream, and it's like it's coming in so clear, and then on the front end, you guys are having problems. YouTube needs to fix this. But yeah, if you guys are having problems, please try and refresh the live stream and see what happens. The Weekly Online says, your videos on gimbals help me decide on the Jewin of both the crane and the smooth 4. Oh, thanks, man. I hope they're making you some good footage. So yeah, let me know your experience with those gimbals. Hey, bro, what type of video you think is helpful for beginner to grow up? Can you elaborate, please? Like, what do you mean? Brother, your GlideCam tutorial helps me a lot. I have a question. How to take subjects in focus while using a moving GlideCam like a tracking shot. I'm using a Nikon D7200. So I'm going to be making, I made a tutorial a long time ago on some focus techniques with manual lenses. I'm going to be doing that for gimbals this time. So that tutorial is going to be coming out soon. I have to shoot it first. But some quick tips for you guys to, some quick tips for you guys to keep focus. Use a wide angle lens, shoot at a high f-stop number, and shoot at infinite focus. Those are some of the ways you can keep sharp focus. If you want to shoot on, let's say, like a 24, 28, 35 millimeter lens, those are a little bit different. Those are going to be a little bit more picky on focus, but as long as you keep that f-stop number high, like f11, you should be okay. You should be okay, but I do recommend keeping that focus peaking turned on. If those of you who don't know what focus peaking is, most monitors have this feature. Most cameras have this feature, and it basically outlines your subjects that are in focus. And that's the biggest, most important tool that you can have when it comes down to checking your focus. But yeah. Any more questions, guys? This is a good live stream. I'm impressed. But yeah. Here's actually the light that's lighting me up right now. This is the Aperture 120D with the Light Dome Mini. And then I have some lights back there. They look blown out, but they aren't. It's just my webcam doesn't do that great of a job. But I have two RGB lights. They're beta. They're not available yet. I'm just trying to use them as much as I can. I just refreshed the live stream. Still, I can see flickering green patch at the bottom of the split screen. I will mail you the screenshot. Yes, please do. This is really not cool. Let me try and log into my own live stream and see if I get that same issue. All right, let's see here. What's going on? Oh, wow. Yeah. I see what you guys are talking about. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I really apologize about that. That's something YouTube has to work out. But can you guys at least hear me? And I guess you can see two of me. This is awful, YouTube. Wow. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I'm sorry about this, guys. But as long as you can see me and hear me for the most part, I think we're okay. Just try to ignore the flickering. But yeah, I'm really sorry about this. It's really embarrassing how YouTube cannot figure out how to fix all the bugs with their live stream. But anyway, I'm really sorry about that, guys. But yeah, as long as you guys can hear me, I think we're okay. All right, let's answer a few more questions here. Live streaming the new gimbals would be great. We hear you clearly. Awesome. Yeah, so as soon as I get the Weeble Lab, I'll live stream it. And hopefully a lot of you guys will tune in because I'll cover some of the biggest features. And some of you who are worried about the Weeble Lab and not sure if it's the right gimbal for you, we're going to talk about that as well. And then that will be my first impressions video. It'll be a live stream. And then I'll have my full review video. I'll compare it to the Ronin S again. And we'll talk about all that good stuff. Lone Journey says, bro, why are you skipping my question? How tall are you? I'm your big fan. I'm 6 feet tall. Nadia says, hello. Hello, Nadia. How are you? How are you? Yeah. All right, guys. So we're 31 minutes in. I have to go shoot a tutorial video for tomorrow. Yeah, it was a Halloween weekend, so there were 2 parties I went to. I had 2 different costumes, so that was pretty funny. Okay, more questions are coming in. Let me answer these. I remember Maddie from Travel Fields giving a setup video for live stream. He actually uses Canon C200 for live stream. The video quality is excellent. Yeah. So I'm gonna have Jason Vaughn help me out with this because he's a live stream guru. There is a little transmitter box that I need to buy, and I'll hook up my SLR cameras to it. I'll work on that, guys. I promise you that will be coming up soon. Eventually, I'll get my live stream game up. But yeah, that's on the list. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new, please remember to hit that like button, or if you're not new, hit that like button regardless, and then subscribe with those notifications turned on. Share this channel with your friends, anyone who loves filmmaking. Let's make this a big community, the biggest community, and I can't wait to see what you guys create. You can always email me for questions. I'm a busy guy, but if I don't reply to your questions, keep emailing me until I do. info@capturethemomentum.com. I'll see you in the next live stream or in the next video. Peace out. I love you all. Bye-bye.